Guys, it is officially open season on these Rogansphere comics, man. Everyone's taking a jab at them, and I freaking love it.
I know that this in any way was just you doing your comedy, but you were so rude as that person. Right. And it's hilarious because I don't think anyone's talked to, certainly a sitting president, or even in this time, no one's talked that way.
Well, all
to
the
a
podcasters
president
that have had the president on now, they don't do their court gesture. They don't do it. They just, they suck up to him.
Yeah.
So the comedians
Yep.
that are podcasters that have had Trump on, they're not doing their job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the job of a comedian. You are to challenge.
Yeah.
You are to make uncomfortable. You're not to sit there and fake laugh.
Yep.
That is not the job of the court jester.
Yeah.
Period.
I could not agree more. I mean, it's absurd to even say this, but the job of a comedian is to be funny. That's it. Simple as that. There is no other job. In my opinion, good comedians, they observe, they exaggerate, they critique real life. For the most part, they punch upwards. They don't punch downwards. They challenge authority. They challenge the norm. That, to me, is what a comic should do. Again, it's all, up for interpretation. But I think we can all agree that the main job of a comic is to be freaking funny. Nowadays, these comics do the complete opposite. They coddle politicians. They platform them, humanize them. They give no pushback. But most importantly, there's absolutely zero comic relief in all of this. And they even punch down now. Like, how many trans jokes do you have to hear about these dudes every single freaking day? I listened to the entire Schultz-Trump pod, the entire Rogan-Trump pod, and dude, there was not an ounce of comic relief in there. Like, it was not... Flagrant's a comedy podcast. And for Rogan, I don't really view him as a comic. I find Stephen Miller funnier than this dude. And this man sleeps in a coffin. Anyways, in this video, I'm going to show you more clips of what Zach Galifianakis had to say regarding the Rogansphere. I mean, let's just be honest, it was aimed directly at them. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Before I show you more Zach clips, let's compare and contrast.
Did you send Ambassador Rodman to North Korea on your behalf? I had read somewhere that you'd be sending Hulk Hogan to Syria, or is that more of a job for Tanya Harding?
Zach, he's not our ambassador.
What should we do about North IKEA? North.
Why don't we move on?
I have to know, what is it like to be the last black president?
Seriously?
See how Zach made Obama the punchline? Like, Obama's reaction to the ridiculousness of the pod was the punchline. That was the punchline. And most importantly, the object of the interview was to get a laugh. Because it was a comedy podcast. No matter what the cost is, look past, if you like the person or not, look past that and get a laugh. Because Zach is a comic. Now let's take a look at Flagrant and how they gave Trump a hot stone massage, gave no pushback, and most importantly, no comedy involved. And listen to Akash at the very end. This dude, Akash is such a cuck, dude.
When you have people that can't walk down a street, it ceases to be...
We can always be better. We can always be better.
Yeah, but you can't blindfold yourself to say...
No, I'm honest about it. But to me, I'm really proud of America because I think that I think I can be the best version of myself here. I think that Donald Trump can only happen in America. Your life, what has happened to you, this is an American story. Yeah. My mom's life is an American story. Like, my mom's from Scotland. She comes here and has all the success. And she's so grateful of what America is. That doesn't mean that we can't make it better. I like the idea of making it better every single time, fixing these things when there's leaks in the ship. But the idea of America and becoming the greatest version of yourself is something I'll always be proud of.
I understand what you're saying. When I was president, we had no wars in the whole world because of me. I stopped a lot of wars from happening.
That makes me proud.
Right. But it's just not happening now. So great. Better than what you're even thinking. And you are. I mean, I love your attitude because I think that's the way you should be.
I think that's...
Sorry. There's one thing I want to give you, a rumor I'd like to give you a chance to dispel. And then one question, if you have time, I'd like to ask selfishly. Rumor, the far left, I think, says this thing that, if Donald Trump wins, he's never going to cede power. Then they have some clip of you saying, just vote for me one time, you won't have to vote again. I don't believe this is true. I want to give you a chance to publicly say that's nonsense, just so you can publicly speak to any moderates out there.
So what I said,
Akash is such a cringe lord, dude. He's such a cock. Such a freaking cock. If I was Akash, and I'm being dead honest with you guys, if I was Akash and there was a clip of me on the internet telling Trump, hey man, let me give you some time to defend yourself. You know, on everything that I own, I would have packed up my chairs and moved to Madagascar. I would not be able to live with myself. Telling a notorious con man, hey man, let me give you some time to defend yourself is the most asinine thing I've heard today. And I've watched the Megyn Kelly podcast earlier today for content purposes. How could this man live with himself, dude?
People were actually, somebody yesterday was talking to me about that, about, political influence through comedy and all that stuff. I'm more interested in the comedy first.
Me too. Yeah. No,
I'm whatever their motive is. Fine, but the comedy has to come first. I remember when I interviewed Hillary Clinton, and I could tell she didn't want to be there, and I totally get that. I get it. But before we had set that whole thing up, they wrote back, well, you can't bring up those emails. And I go, well, we don't have to do the interview. That's fine. We won't do it.
Yeah.
When you tell powerful people no, it's crazy. They were like, okay, we'll do it. Well, you can ask.
Yeah.
Because it's not that important to me to do it the way they want to do it. You have to, if you're going to come in a comedy, you got to do the way we want to do it.
The way I see it, you enter a comics arena, you're going to play by the comics rules. Nowadays, these comedians conform to their guests' rules. And their guests are political figures that are doing damage to the country, to the freaking world. They're complicit in this. Like comics right now, we all know they're useful idiots, but they're political pawns. They sold out. And because of that, the comedy industry is dying. I'm going to make a video about that in the future, but it's dying, dude. Trust me, it's dying.
I see this all the time, and I've seen it for years and years and years and years. People not understanding that if they go to the supposedly vulnerable place and have a sense of humor about it, it is magical for them. People see they have a sense of humor. They see that they can take a joke. I mean, no one walked away from your interview with Obama and thought, wow, you really showed him. He got to be hilarious. He sat there and entered your world of, being intentionally ignorant about who he is, what he does, cutting him off, being insanely rude, and gave it back to you in equal measure. And you looked at it and you thought, this is a great piece of comedy. And I know it reflects well back on the president. And our current president would do well to understand that, if he let himself be the butt of the joke,
it's impossible.
It's humanizing. I know it is impossible.
You wouldn't do it with him.
It wouldn't work. No.
It wouldn't work.
I find it funny how all these Rogansphere comics, or a lot of these comics in general, they propped up Trump as like a white knight for free speech, even though Trump is like the most thin-skinned, uptight person known to mankind. Like, dude, there was a precedent for this. Okay, this didn't come out of nowhere. There was an entire, not just 4 years, an entire fucking 60 years of evidence of how much of an uptight person he is, and they still propped him up.
The episode of you when you were on The View, and I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
And you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you. The audience was cheering. And then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
Yeah.
But there's probably no one in history that I've ever seen that's been attacked the way you've been attacked, and the way they've done it, so coordinated and systematically. When you see those same people in the past, very favorable to you, like Oprah, when you were on Oprah's show,
very.
She was encouraging you to be
Last
president.
week, I did one of her last shows, I think maybe Thursday or Friday. That was a big deal, being on Oprah's show, the last one. And I was like one of the last shows in that final week. And I said, boy, we've come a long way since.
So I showed you the Flagrant podcast and Andrew Schultz and Kakash Singh, cucking to Trump. I showed you just Joe Rogan, just pretty much, massaging Trump's shoulders there. I would show you Theo Von's clip, but this free speech warrior will demonetize the video and put a copyright strike on my channel just for showing a clip of his without his consent. Like, you know what I mean? Ask any content creator that you know. This man is the most sensitive content creator I've ever come across. He demonetizes everything. There are ways around it to use Theo Von clips, but just like, to me, I'm just like, it shouldn't be like that. You know, at least Rogan lets you freaking use his clips willy-nilly, but like, Theo Von is such a, oh my God, dude. He's funny, but he's a hypocrite. He's a complete hypocrite. Anyways, these comics have no spine. And my prediction is, you already see them jumping off the Trump train, but they're now going to jump to the grifting train, which is the Trump bashing train, which to me is just taking the easy way out. Like, the way I see it, obviously, I loathe Trump. I don't like him. I never supported him. Making like Trump mocking comedy skits, which I think what most of these grifters are going to do now, it's kind of like a bailout, cop-out type lower level of comedy, because it's hard to exaggerate something that's already exaggerated to the max. Something that's already a satirical figure just to begin with. Trump looks like a melting hippo. He acts like an adult child. How can you push that even more further to the max? How can you satirize that? I see that as like a lower form of comedy, in my opinion. But I could definitely see Andrew Schultz jumping on that train because he's a freaking lower level type of comic. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to end this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Shout out to Zach. He's a true comic. Zach actually has his magnum opus under his belt, The Hangover. What is Andrew Schultz, Theo Von, Joe Rogan's magnum opus? The Donald Trump interview. Have fun in the history books, you dumb dicks. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Peace, y'all.